You've allowed fear to narrate your future for far too long, replaying disasters that haven't even happened. If you don't guard the doorway of your mind, you will continue to live in a prison of your own thinking. Today, I will teach you the specific words to say when doubt tries to take your peace. My child, your mind was never designed to be a storage place for imagined disasters. I see how often you wake up and begin counting worries as if they were responsibilities. Before your feet touch the floor, your thoughts are already building scenes of failure, loss, rejection, sickness, shortage, abandonment, and disappointment. You try to call it preparation, but deep inside you know it feels like torment. You did not find this message by accident. I am meeting you at the doorway of your mind because fear has been knocking too often, entering too easily, and sitting too long. Stay with me, because before this message ends, I will teach you the truth replacement method and the daily mind guard system. You will learn the words to say when doubt rises, how to pull out the weeds of what if, and how to plant truth where anxiety has been growing. Do not leave this word yet. Your thoughts may be loud, but they are not your master. Write G Ward My Hort in the comments if you are ready to stop letting fear decide the atmosphere of your inner life. Do not write it as a perfect person. Write it as someone choosing protection with me. I saw the thought that followed you today, the one that came quietly at first, then kept repeating itself until your body believed danger was near. It may have sounded like, what if this fails? What if they leave? What if I cannot handle it? What if that money runs out? What if the money gets worse? What if I am behind forever? What if God does not come through for me this time? That thought felt powerful because it sounded familiar. But familiar does not mean true. You have been living with mental noise that no one else can fully hear. People may see you working, smiling, answering messages, finishing tasks, caring for others, and managing responsibilities. They may not know that inside you are fighting entire storms before breakfast. You are tired, not only physically tired, mentally tired, spiritually tired, tired from rehearsing problems that have not arrived. Tired from preparing emotional responses to pain that has not happened. Tired from carrying tomorrow's battles inside today's body. That weight is real. Your shoulders feel it. Your chest feels it. Your sleep feels it. Your patience feels it. Your prayer life feels it. You try to rest, but your mind keeps opening files of unfinished fear. You try to trust, but anxiety keeps presenting evidence. You try to hope, but doubt keeps asking for permission to speak first. I see that battle, and I am not ashamed of you in it. The first thing I need you to understand is that your mind is a doorway. Thoughts may approach, but they do not all deserve entry. Some thoughts are warnings that need wisdom. Some are memories that need healing. Some are convictions that need obedience. But some thoughts are intruders dressed like truth. Not every thought belongs. Not every fear is prophecy. Not every what if is discernment. You have treated too many anxious thoughts like instructions. You felt fear, then assumed fear was guiding you. You felt dread, then assumed dread was revealing the future. You felt heaviness, then assumed heaviness was proof that something terrible was coming. But fear can lie with confidence. Anxiety can sound urgent without being accurate. The enemy often attacks thought first because thought becomes attention. Attention becomes imagination. Imagination becomes expectation. And expectation begins shaping your emotional atmosphere. If he can keep you mentally rehearsing defeat, you may begin living as though defeat has already been decided. This is why guarding your mind matters. You are not being dramatic for needing mental peace. You are not weak for admitting that your thoughts have become exhausting. You are not failing me because your mind feels crowded. You are being invited to become attentive, protective, and rooted in truth. Pause now. Which thought in your head today did not come from me? Do not answer quickly. Let the question search gently. Was it the thought that called you hopeless? Was it the thought that said you are too late? Was it the thought that said you will never recover? Was it the thought that made you feel unsafe in a future I have not even shown you yet? Name it. Bring it into the light. A weed grows stronger when it remains hidden beneath the surface, but when it is pulled into the light, its grip begins to loosen. That is what I am doing with your fear. I am not condemning you for having thoughts. I am teaching you to stop hosting the ones that destroy your peace. Stay with me, because now I will show you the garden. Your inner life is not an empty space, it is a cultivated place. Something is always being planted, something is always being watered, something is always growing. When you replay fear, you water fear. When you rehearse truth, you water faith. When you meditate on worst case outcomes all day, you give fear roots. When you return to my promises, even with trembling, you give truth room to grow. What you focus on does not become true simply because you focus on it. But focus does feed emotional power. You have fed fear without meaning to. You called it thinking ahead. You called it being responsible. You called it preparing for disappointment. You called it protecting yourself from being surprised. But much of it was not preparation. It was repeated exposure to imagined pain that wears down the soul. Your mind has been acting like a garden where every seed is allowed to fall. A comment from someone becomes a weed. A memory becomes a vine. A news story becomes a thorn. A comparison becomes poison in the soil. A single fear becomes a tree casting shadow over the whole day. This is not the life I want for you. I am teaching you to tend the garden. Tending does not mean you never experience fear. It means fear does not get to take root without being confronted. It means doubt does not become a permanent resident. It means every thought is tested before it is trusted. A single candle can remove the darkness of a room. Do not underestimate one sentence of truth. One truthful sentence spoken with faith can interrupt hours of mental spiraling. One prayerful pause can stop a fear story before it becomes a mental movie. One act of attention can close the door before anxiety begins rearranging the furniture. This is the principle. Feeding fear multiplies dread, but feeding faith restores perspective. Faith is not denial. Faith is not pretending bills do not exist, symptoms do not hurt, relationships do not ache, or responsibilities do not matter. Faith is refusing to let fear become the narrator of what I am still writing. Your future does not belong to fear. Your mind does not belong to panic. Your imagination was not created only to rehearse disaster. It was created to hold hope, vision, prayer, creativity, compassion, and trust. Fear has been misusing a gift I placed inside you. I am taking it back. Now listen carefully. You cannot simply tell your mind to stop thinking. Empty space often invites return. If you pull out weeds but plant nothing, the soil remains vulnerable. This is why you need replacement, not only resistance. You do not defeat a toxic thought by arguing endlessly with it. You defeat it by answering it with truth, withdrawing attention, and planting something stronger. What comes next is the truth replacement method. The first step is catch. Catch the thought before it becomes a storyline. Notice the moment it enters. I am going to fail. They will reject me. Nothing will change. I am not safe. God forgot me. Do not let it run through the house unchecked. Say, I see that thought. This creates distance. You are not your thoughts, you are my creation. Repeat that slowly. You are not your thoughts, you are my creation. A thought may enter your mind without becoming your identity. A fearful sentence may knock without receiving a key. The second step is test. Ask, does this thought carry truth, wisdom, peace, correction, or love? Or does it carry accusation, panic, shame, hopelessness, confusion, and pressure? My correction may be serious, but it will not call you worthless. My warning may be firm, but it will not trap you in despair. My guidance may challenge you, but it will not mock your weakness. Test the fruit. If the thought produces paralysis, self-hatred, panic, or hopelessness, do not crown it as truth. Bring it before me. Ask, Father, what is true here? The third step is answer. Do not answer fear with vague positivity. Answer it with specific truth. If fear says, I cannot handle tomorrow, answer, God will give me grace for the day He has placed before me. If fear says, I am alone, answer, God is near and help can come through the people He sends. If fear says, I ruined everything, answer, my failure is not stronger than God's mercy and guidance. Speak simply. Fear is noisy, but truth does not need to be complicated. The fourth step is plant. After answering the lie, plant one small action that agrees with truth. If you believe I am near, pause and pray. If you believe your body matters, breathe and rest. If you believe I provide wisdom, take one practical step. If you believe you are not alone, ask someone safe for help. If you believe the future is not ruled by fear, stop rehearsing the disaster and return to what is in front of you. Truth needs practice. Catch, test, answer, plant. This is how you begin clearing the mental garden. You catch the invading thought, test its source, answer it with truth, and plant action that agrees with me. Type RENEW my mind if you are ready to practice this when doubt tries to take your peace. Let it be your agreement that fear no longer gets automatic access. Now I want to restore your identity, because many of you have started judging yourself for the thoughts you fight. You think, if I were stronger, I would not think like this. If I had more faith, I would not feel anxious. If I were truly healed, I would not keep imagining disaster. My child, do not confuse temptation with agreement. A thought entering does not mean you invited it. A fear rising does not mean you failed. A memory surfacing does not mean you are back where you started. The question is not whether a thought appeared. The question is whether you let it rule. You are learning, be patient with the process. Mental freedom is often built through repeated returns. You may catch the same fear many times. You may answer the same lie many mornings. You may need to pull the same weed again because roots were deep. That does not mean truth is weak. It means healing is thorough. I do not despise your repeated return. I honor it. Every time you bring a thought to me instead of letting it silently govern you, strength is forming. Every time you refuse the lie, even while trembling, discernment is growing. Every time you plant truth, even if your emotions lag behind, your inner garden is being renewed. You are not a failure because you need repetition. Gardens need daily tending. You are my beloved creation, not a battlefield abandoned to chaos. You are held even when your thoughts are loud. You are chosen even when your emotions are unsteady. You are safe with me even when your nervous system has not yet learned safety fully. I know how fear entered. Some fear entered through trauma, some through financial pressure, some through betrayal, some through watching people leave, some through sickness, grief, family instability, failure, or years of living braced for impact. I am not minimizing what trained your mind to expect pain. I am not telling you, just stop worrying, as though this has been easy. I am saying, let me retrain you gently. There is a difference. If your anxiety feels severe, constant, or connected to trauma, seek wise support. Counselors, doctors, pastors, and safe community can be part of my care for you. Receiving help does not mean you lack faith. It means you are allowing healing to have hands. You are worth careful care. Now stay with me. I am making a shift in you from fear narration to truth narration. You have allowed fear to speak first, longest, and loudest. But now I am teaching your spirit a new order. Truth speaks first. Peace receives authority. Wisdom chooses action. Fear is heard only as a signal to return, not as a ruler. This is the shift. You will not become mentally free by never hearing fear again. You will become free as fear loses authority. It may still knock, but it does not enter freely. It may still suggest disaster, but you no longer build your day around its predictions. It may still replay old pain, but you now know how to bring the memory into my presence. I am renewing the doorway. The doorway of your mind has been too open to accusation, too open to dread, too open to imagined conversations, too open to comparison, too open to shame. But I am placing discernment at that door. I am teaching you to ask, who sent this thought, and what fruit will it produce if I let it stay? That question will protect you. Some thoughts must be rejected immediately. Some must be healed gently. Some must be brought into prayer. Some must become practical action. This is maturity. Mental freedom is not passivity. It is partnership. I give truth, and you practice receiving it. I bring peace, and you stop feeding the storm. I reveal the lie, and you answer it instead of entertaining it. I am moving now. Help is already near. If this message is helping you renew your mind today, like this video and stay connected with future words that strengthen peace, truth, and emotional steadiness when anxiety tries to rise again. Now I will give you the daily Mind Guard system. Use this every morning to set your emotional atmosphere before fear begins naming your day. The first movement is open with truth. Before your phone, before the news, before messages, before the list, say one truth out loud. Father, my mind belongs to you today. Or say, fear does not get to narrate my future. Or say, I am held, guided, and covered by your presence. Say it slowly. Let your morning begin under truth, not under urgency. The second movement is watch the gate. Ask, what am I allowing through my eyes and ears this morning? Some inputs may seem small, but they can set the atmosphere. A fearful video, a draining message, a comparison post, a conflict thread, or a negative conversation can plant seeds before you realize you are tending them. Guard the gate early. You do not need to consume everything available. You do not need to answer every demand immediately. You do not need to begin your day by letting strangers, stress, and fear decide your inner climate. Choose your first input with wisdom. The third movement is speak the replacement. When a specific fear appears, do not let it remain vague. Write it down if needed, then speak a replacement. Fear says, something bad will happen. Truth says, I will walk with God through what comes, and I will not borrow tomorrow's trouble today. Fear says, I am not enough. Truth says, I am not my own source. God is my strength. Fear says, nothing is changing. Truth says, God is working in ways I cannot yet measure. Specific lies need specific truth. The fourth movement is plant one peaceful action. After truth is spoken, act in agreement. Drink water, step outside, pray for 3 minutes. Make the practical call. Organize one small area. Read one passage. Take medicine if prescribed. Send the honest message. Rest your body. Turn off the source feeding the spiral. Peace becomes stronger when practiced. Do not wait until anxiety disappears before you obey truth. Often your body learns truth as you practice it slowly. Open with truth. Watch the gate. Speak the replacement. Plant one peaceful action. This is your morning guard. Keep it simple enough to repeat. A complicated routine becomes another burden. I am giving you a rhythm, not a weight. 3 to 5 minutes with me can shift the soil of your entire day. When chaos returns later, return to the same pattern. Open with truth again. Watch the gate again. Speak the replacement again. Plant one peaceful action again. Do not shame yourself for needing to repeat it. Repetition is how renewal becomes familiar. Now listen to the closing blessing for your mind. I speak peace over the places where thoughts have been racing. I speak stillness over the mental rooms where fear has been pacing. I speak light over the corners where shame has been hiding. I speak courage over the decisions you have avoided because imagined disaster became too loud. Your mind is not beyond my reach. Your peace is not beyond restoration. Your thoughts are not too tangled for my wisdom. I am not only calming you for a moment. I am teaching you how to live guarded, clear, and rooted. I am placing a broom in your hand and truth in your mouth. Together we are sweeping away the storm clouds that tried to cover your heart. You do not have to host every thought. You do not have to rehearse every disaster. You do not have to call panic preparation. You do not have to let fear write tomorrow's script. You can stop at the door and say, this thought does not come from God, and it will not take my peace. Use those words. Say them when doubt rises. Say them when fear narrates. Say them when anxiety begins building scenes of disaster. Say them gently, firmly, and repeatedly. The next message will address how to calm your body when your mind understands truth, but your chest still feels afraid. I will show you how to bring peace into your breathing, your sleep, and your physical response to anxiety. Stay near. Before you rush after the summonsing summons a soul. Pause for a moment, open field for every fear. Let it mean you are pulling weeds and planting truth. Let it mean you are receiving renewal without shame. You are not your thoughts, you are my creation. You are seen when fear rises. You are held when thoughts race. You are chosen when emotions shake. You are being renewed day by day. Now guard the doorway. Pull the weed, light the candle, plant the truth, and let my peace grow there.